So a lot can change in 1 year, including the quality of your video work. But if you're not paying attention to it, you probably won't notice the changes until you actually compare them side by side. And in recently doing this with my own work, comparing last year to this year, I noticed that the quality has changed a lot, and I'm actually really happy with where it's at. So I gave it some thought, and I compiled a list of the 10 things I believe has improved the quality of my work in the last year. So I thought I'd share that with you so that maybe one of these things could be the thing you're looking for to make your videos improve and get better as well. So the first and biggest thing that has changed the look of my videos is this. This is a black mist filter made by Moment, and I use the 5 to 10% typically, and it lives about 95% of the time on my lenses. I never really take them off because I really like the look a lot. It gives a bit of a halation effect. In fact, that's what you're seeing right now from the light behind me. It gives a bit of a filmic look. It blooms things a little bit without losing too much definition in the shadows. It's a way of getting that super classic film look that you often see in films, and it's a really affordable way to do it. I like it. The second thing on the list is this gear cart over here. While you might think that doesn't improve my videos, it actually does, because I can be more organized, my gear is kept safe, and I don't have to worry about where things are. I can grab them and start creating immediately. So to me, that's equally as important to the other things I'm going to mention, because organization is super important. I do have a whole video talking about the gear cart, so if you're interested in that, check it out after you watch this video. So third on the list, we have the Stream Deck. These are a bunch of buttons that I can customize to do whatever I want on my computer. It helps speed up editing, but it also helps me to stay organized and not have to waste time hunting and pecking and remembering certain things. I can just make it a button and tap it, and it brings me right to whatever it is I need it to do. For instance, my keyboard decided to stop letting me control the volume from the keyboard, which is really inconvenient. So I created a shortcut on here to control the volume from, so that now I don't have to rely on the keyboard or buy a new one, since it's perfectly usable, and I can control the volume from here. Aside from that, I use it in editing to create new libraries and projects and do shortcuts to help me speed up my editing so that I can get to new work and new projects faster. Basically, this is a time saver, and it's small enough that it just sits on my desk without taking up much space. So the fourth one has to do with lighting. And if it were up to me, lighting would be number 1 through 10 on this list. But unfortunately, that'd be pretty boring. You all know me for lighting and how important it is to the overall quality of a video. But there is one lighting technique that I learned and implemented this year that really leveled up my videos and brought a whole new quality to what I was creating. So I call this technique the double diffusion technique. If you want to know all about that, how it works, how to do it, and what it looks like, it's actually inside of my free training, which I'm linking down below for you to find. It's a 30-minute free training, and it has everything you need to know about starting and making product videos from home. And the double diffusion technique I cover extensively inside the lighting section of the free training. But moving on to number 5, it's kind of a hybrid. I'm kind of putting these two things together because they go hand in hand, and that would be the Blackmagic 6K Pro. I bought this about a year ago, and it has really helped me improve my work. Not only because it shoots in 6K, but because of all the dynamic range, the quality of color you can get from this when you edit in DaVinci Resolve, which is made by Blackmagic. And even if you don't have a Blackmagic camera, DaVinci Resolve is free for everybody. And on top of that, amazing with color grading and correction, and just pairing these two things together has improved my work dramatically. But there are two things in particular within DaVinci Resolve that really help bring my product videos and my work that I shoot on this camera to a whole new level. The first one is sharpening. And I know you might think, well, that's really basic. Why would sharpening be amazing? I was finding with my product video work that sometimes things just wouldn't look crisp. Turns out that adding a little bit of sharpening to the shot helped make it look just the way I wanted to and bring it and feel like, yes, I can touch that. That's 4 or 6K quality right there. And the second thing, which I think is really cool, is DaVinci Resolve's wire removal. I found that early on in the year, and I've absolutely loved it. Super powerful. I have a whole video explaining how to do that, so if you're wanting to know how to do wire removal in DaVinci Resolve, got a video on that up here. Moving on to number 6 is using my DSLR, which is a 6D Mark II, for webcam calls. That's Zoom meetings or live streams or anytime you're interacting online with people. It gives such a great quality. It looks just like this, via Zoom, and people are so impressed by it. I can't tell you how many times I get compliments within 10 seconds of being in a Zoom call with people saying, "Oh my goodness, your video looks so good, everything looks amazing," and it just sets a really big standard of who you are as a professional, and also just has a really great first impression. I really do believe it's helped me to land certain clients or deals, and I can't say anything more than you should just do it because it looks really good. Moving on to number 7 actually has to do with webcam live streaming stuff, is a round base monopod made by iFootage. It allows me to put my camera setup on my desk, and that was something I did earlier in the year. I used to not do that. I used to use a tripod and it would take up so much space. Having my camera on my desk, nice and secure, frees up the floor space in my office for other things, but also allows me just to keep it really conveniently close by. If I'm gonna talk on my computer, it makes it super easy for live stream, Zoom calls, everything if I'm right next to my computer. So having the round base monopod has been super helpful. Once again, if you want to know more about it, I do have a video on it, so feel free to check it out afterwards. Moving on to number 8, we have this. This is a mouse. I know it's nothing crazy, but you've probably heard of it. It's the Logitech MX Master 2S, and it has the ability to be super customized. And more recently, I learned how to customize it, which I have a video coming out on that really soon, so stay tuned for that. But basically, this combined also with learning how to create my own presets for my editing programs has made it so that editing is now way faster. Basically, I customize the buttons on here to quickly edit. I don't even use keyboard shortcuts hardly anymore because this can almost do all the ones I use most often. Then when it comes to custom presets, I have made custom presets for things that I'm doing all the time. If I'm often doing split screens, or if I have color grades or looks, transitions, or titles, I've learned how to create my own animated titles and animated backgrounds that I can use inside of my edits, and it's just as simple as drag and drop. I used to think that I couldn't learn how to create my own effects or presets, but I've made myself learn Motion a little bit, which is After Effects for Mac computers, and I've been able to create an animated background that looks like this. You've probably seen it in some of my videos. I use it a lot. It's a great way of adding some interest in the background. I've learned how to do some titles and some other basic things. But more importantly, I use my presets on my YouTube videos all the time. Because I shoot my videos in the same setting all the time, I can keep using the same settings because I keep the lights the same, and so I can just keep the grade and the look the same. In addition to that, I also have a preset for my own voice because I figured out how I like it to sound with my microphone, and so it's just as simple as a drag and drop and maybe a little bit of a tweak depending on the day. Honestly, that's a lifesaver that I don't have to do all of these things every single time I make a YouTube video, which is quite often. Next up is number 9, and these are some of my favorite packs and plugins or presets from 2 different places. I like to get them from simplevideomaking.com for Final Cut Pro, and then for Final Cut and DaVinci Resolve, there's Motion VFX, which I've been using some of their free and paid presets and plugins most recently. Now, I'm not sponsored by either brand, but I have used free and paid ones from both of these companies, and I enjoy them both. For simple video making, they have a lot of titles and effects or animated backgrounds that I use inside of Final Cut Pro, and really just helps speed up my workflow while looking super professional and doing things that I may not know how to do, like animations and whatnot. And when it comes to Motion VFX, they do have some titles and stuff like that, which I do have some and use, but I actually like their, I'll call them effects that you can add to the video. For instance, I like to use the M Movie Lights pack. Inside the pack, there's a lot of these light leaks or looks that you can get that you can put over your footage if you weren't able to accomplish a certain look while shooting. Maybe that's a sun flare, maybe that's a bit of a semi-bloom, whatever it is, this pack is really helpful because it has to do with light, and light has that ability to add a lot of dynamic interest to a shot. Another one I'm really liking for YouTube stuff is called Behavior Basics. Basically, it's a lot of animation movements that you can apply to any piece, to a clip, to text, to whatever it is you want, and it can move on screen really easily without having to keyframe it yourself. And lastly, there is a free one called MCam Rig that I do like to use. And what it does is kind of zoom in on your footage and then zoom back out. But you get to control the focus, you get to control how fast and smooth that zoom is. And I've tried a lot of smooth zooms for YouTube videos, and unfortunately not a lot of them look really good, but I am enjoying the look of this one. So it's free, and I'd say get it if you're making YouTube content a lot. I'll link them down below so that you can check them out for yourself. And lastly, we have number 10, which might be a little cliche, but that's my iPad. I got this in the last year and it's helped me to be more organized and creative. I use it all the time to plan out my videos for YouTube, but also for client work. I'm writing out thoughts, I'm researching things, I'm creating all sorts of amazing stuff, and it really helps me to be organized and that I can take it with me. But more importantly, the stylus. The stylus really helps it feel like a piece of pen and paper, just a little bit, where you get to write something down. I am such a hands-on person that I like feeling like I'm writing something versus typing something. It just feels, I don't know, more creative perhaps. So I do definitely recommend to get the stylus if you have an iPad and you do a lot of work. It just feels better when you're taking notes if you're doing it by hand. Maybe that's just me, but that's how I feel about it. Either way, those are 10 things that have helped improve my videos over the last year. I'm sure if I gave it more thought, I could say it was a lot of other things. It could have been a lens, it could have been learning how to do something, audio, this, that, or the other. And truly, all of those things do come together and improve the quality. These are just the top 10 things that I can say, this thing helped me do things faster. This helped me do things better. It helped me achieve the look and the results that I was trying to get. And the thing is, next year, I'm gonna say the same thing, that there's gonna be a whole different list of 5, 10 different things that really changed the look of my work or the way that I'm working and helping me to do better and get the results that I'm after. Now, whether these 10 things are the same for you, I don't know, but if you have 10 things, go ahead and list them down below. I like to hear what you feel like has improved your work, and I think it's really great to hear. So hopefully one of or all of these things help you out. I will link them all down below. If you use them, it does support the channel if you make a purchase through those links. So thank you when you do that. It helps me continue what I'm doing here. And I think that's it. If you have questions, reach out, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video.